Okay, Nick and Andy, huge game coming up for Liverpool against PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League, and kind of an unexpectedly huge game, right, Nick? I mean, this all of a sudden feels like a massive moment for Arne Slot and Liverpool. In the Premier League, obviously 6 defeats in their last 7. None of us can quite believe that. Why is it happening? What do you have the answers, Nick, in terms of this spiral? Because I think we've debated it so many different reasons, of course, but Champions League, they kind of held it together decently well so far. So this competition seems to have been a bit of a respite for them, but all is not well at Anfield.
No, and I don't have the answer. I wonder what happened to a team that felt like it had taken that mentality monsters mantle and carried it over through a manager change, because the leaders are still there. Alisson's still there. I know he's been hurt, but he's there. Van Dijk is there. Robertson is there. Salah is like, I know there's been a lot of changeover, but these guys are there. And I mean, I do think there's a certain amount of not addressing the right back situation, but even that can't explain why Konate's play has fallen off a cliff. Maybe he's being overused or whatever, but there's depth there. There's talent. I refuse to believe, as much as Isak was out of shape, that he was just sitting around eating cake for 3 months. Like this team should be so much better. And the fact that in this season that they aren't at least hanging around. I mean, I guess they're hanging around, but I'm talking about hanging around the title race. I don't have your answers, Joe, and I think anything could happen in the next month.
Yeah, it's true, right? I mean, again, the caveat of all of this is obviously off the pitch. We know what a horrific, tragic summer it was with losing Diogo Jota, and we've seen the Liverpool players speak about how that's impacted them, still is impacting them. So that's one side of it. But on the pitch, Andy, I think the most interesting thing to me is that obviously Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool in such a great situation. Arne Slot came in. Not a lot really changed apart from a slightly more controlled style of play. And then they won games, they kept winning. And this kind of malaise almost set in towards the end of last season, where they're a bit sloppier, they stopped scoring as many goals. I just wonder, maybe, is this kind of like just new methods that were ushered in towards the end of last season, and then just it's too much change for some of these players that have mostly been there the whole time playing under Klopp, like Nick mentioned. There's been a lot of changes, but the majority of the starting lineup have been there for a very long time. So is it maybe just Slot trying to change things his way a little bit too much from last season? And then we've seen he's reverted back to some of the old, players or tactics or whatever that got success. So again, I'm racking my brains. There's so much you could blame for this, but it's not an easy situation to solve, is it?
No, it's not. And I think it's a little bit of all of those. It's everything, I think, just cumulatively adding up, and it's just every single game seems to snowball on them. They look to me on Saturday like a team just really going through the motions. That they had to be there, they had to play. They played well for 15-20 minutes. They started well. I think Forrest had the first couple shots in the game, and then they didn't have one for 20 minutes. Liverpool dominated that period, probably should have scored in there, and then Forrest scored their next shot, and the heads were just down immediately. It was, oh, here we go again. And you could just sense a lack of energy, of urgency, intensity, anything that they had brought to the game, and that could drag them out of a situation like this. It just kind of went out the window immediately, and it was all Forrest from there. And to see that, Virgil van Dijk came out after the game and said, to lose 3-0 at home to Nottingham Forest. Talk about saying the quiet part out loud right there. But he's right. You don't expect that from them. As champions or not champions, you expect Anfield to carry them. And it just, I look at that as being kind of, that's really, I think, signaling that it's everything that's happening off the field with this team, whether it is the Diogo Jota situation and just the struggles that some guys are clearly having with that still, and the newness and all the change and everything. It's just, I think about being one of those players in that locker room from the summer onward, and just everything must feel like it's going 1,000 miles an hour on them, and they just aren't able to catch up, just aren't able to get their feet on the ground.
Yeah, and I think, Nick, this competition, the Champions League, like I said, kind of is a bit of a respite, and it's almost like Again, their form in the Premier League means they are pretty much not going to win the title. I think we can all safely say at this point. So I'm not saying all in on the Champions League, but they could put a lot of their energy and positivity in this competition, right? And they could still go far. We saw them defeat Real Madrid in this competition just a few weeks ago. So we know what they're capable of. And this might just be the kind of competition that gets the best out of them, every few weeks when they play in it. So, I'm just wondering about that aspect. And also some of the guys you mentioned, Kanate, Isak, and then Mohamed Salah as well. We talked about him at length and his struggles this season. Is this kind of a time now to rest those guys, take them out? Because I'm looking at the options on the bench, and I'm not sure how many options Liverpool actually do have at the moment to leave some of those players out. It's a bit of a strange situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to decide what your best team is once you're healthy. Right now, you're right, but projecting down the line for the Champions League, finding out what your best group of attackers is. I mean, there have been some bright spots. Cody Gakpo is solid. I'm not thinking you're ever going to feel like, thank God I have Cody Gakpo, like that situation, but like he gives you the same performance every game. There's heart there. Wirtz is obviously hurt. And it's probably an unpopular thing to say, but I've liked him. And going back, not to harp on the Isak thing, and you guys know I have a little bit of a bitterness from Newcastle stuff, but Ekitike has been decent. And so who's your best team, and how do you want to prioritize your competition? Because I could see if you think Salah is slumping, you think some of these guys are slumping, this is the game for them. And then at the weekend, you put out the guys who are going well. So maybe the lineup tells us a lot on where Arne Slot is. Yeah,
and at this point, I think it's almost like a clean slate for everybody, and everything's up for grabs in terms of if you're going to be the start. Yeah. All right, let's talk about PSV, Andy. Obviously, pretty dangerous, I think. Top of the Eredivisie, the reigning champs. From a US men's national team perspective, Ricardo Pepi comes off the bench a lot and does well. Sergino Dest. I mean, look, they beat Napoli 6-2 in this competition not long ago. So they've been doing well in Europe, and I think we kind of sleep on them. We talk a lot about Ajax, the great teams they've had in recent years, the academy prospects, and Feyenoord under Arne Slot and the great job he did there, and rightfully so. But I feel like PSV always go under the radar, but they have put together a fine team again and should not be underestimated.
Yeah, this is a red alert game for Liverpool to me. Anytime you've got a team that's as confident and used to winning as PSV are at the moment, facing a team that's as lacking in confidence and used to losing at the moment, that's a very, very dangerous combination. And I think that the PSV is going to see as an opportunity, hey, we can go and we can not only play with Liverpool, we think we can probably take the game to them just a little bit and, put them on the back foot and make them a little bit uncomfortable and add on to what's going, the struggles there. And so, yeah, it is nice to see Ricardo Pepi back and one, healthy, because he missed such a long time with that knee injury. And then, getting back to goal scoring form just at the right time. We have 3 or 4, maybe 5 strikers for the U.S. men's national team now that could score some goals at the World Cup. So, yeah, I would be worried, though, if I'm Liverpool in this one.
Yeah, we're going to wait and see what happens and see if PSV can pull a big upset out of the bag. And I guess it wouldn't be that big of a shock, right, Nick, at this point? I mean, what are you going for prediction-wise, mate?
I mean, I'm just going to let myself get burnt. PSV look good. I love they're a team of names. Andy and I particularly love this. You turn on a TV and it's like, oh, Perisic, Dest, Pepi, Van Bommel, Alassane Play. Like there are names there. The MLS kid who could have been USMNTV, Bajrak Trevic. I think I said it right. That this is a fun team, but I'm going to let myself get burnt. It's at home. Liverpool should be ticked off. They're better. This should be 3-1 Liverpool.
Okay, I'm going to go 3-2 Liverpool. I think they'll be a bit chaotic. Andy, you're smiling.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Same. It's chaotic, like you say, and it's a must-have moment for Liverpool, and I still think they can get up for that.
Yeah, me too. All right. Head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest on Liverpool against PSV. Let's see if Arne Slot's side can get back on track and once again enjoy their evening in the Champions League.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.